It went from being the laughingstock of the industry to one of the top-grossing Latin music genres of the early 21st century. It sold out shows across North America.
Hicimos un disco en vivo con 72,000 personas.
En Querétaro, 165,000 por ahí personas.
The genre spurred a category of its own at award shows and even became the theme song to a hit Televisa telenovela. In the early 2000s, the D word, duranguense, took over a large part of the Mexican music industry. The style, which derives its name from the Mexican state of Durango, became a cash cow for the music industry in the US and Mexico, selling millions of albums at its peak. It even generated its own style of dance and won over unexpected fans.
Oh, what the f***? You don't know Alacron is musical? Así que ven y dime cuánto me llamas.
And not even 10 years later, it faded into oblivion, a nostalgic memory of the MySpace era. But could duranguense be making a comeback?
Aquí nació un sueño y hoy regresamos con un sold out, baby! Woo!
Why did duranguense originate where you least expect it? Hint, it's not Durango, Mexico. How did duranguense go from an obscure American subculture to the top of the Billboard Latin music charts? Why did it suddenly fade in 2010? And why does this story hit so close to home? I went to Milwaukee, Chicago, and of course, Durango to answer those questions. My name is Fernando, and this story is about the hyphen between duranguense and the United States. Okay, so what exactly is duranguense? I'll try to explain without showing too many clips to avoid YouTube copyright striking me. But here's how a former duranguense musician describes it.
Lo determinábamos como un tamborazo progresivo, por la razón porque como tiene teclados y otros instrumentos que no son completamente de viento.
The band Montes de Durango is widely credited with creating it in Chicago in the late 1990s, where the group combined the traditional drum-driven tamborazo from the Mexican state of Zacatecas with a tecnobanda sound. The result?
Quiero saber si tu amor no murió, si en verdad lo llevas adentro.
Entonces ahí en ese entonces venía a concluir lo que era la tecnobanda y empieza lo que es el duranguense, a empezar a agarrar.
Jesus Duarte used to be a member of Montes de Durango before going off on his own and starting Macizo Musical, another duranguense group. The reason I said this story hits close to home is because Jesus, or Chuy as I know him, is my uncle. I actually interviewed him before Thanksgiving dinner at my parents' house in Chicago. His band, Macizo Musical, went on to perform on Sábado Gigante in 2006, which at the time was the top-rated Spanish-language variety show on Univision.
Muy bien.
Cuarta producción.
Sí, a la cuarta producción bajo el sello de Univision, promocionando el nuevo tema Platicando Solas.
Y se llevó esa moda del duranguense y empezaron los booms aquí y todo y trabajando todo de maravilla.
What I wanted to understand was why, of all places, duranguense music was born in Chicago. He suggested I talk to Pedro Iván Messina, who from 2000 to 2007 was a radio host on La Ley 107.9, a regional Mexican music station that band Alacranes Musical credits with helping put duranguense on the map.
Bueno, señoras y señores, estamos nada más y nada menos que con Luis, el venenoso hijo de la mañana, mi querido Luis.
So I spent a lot of time online working on videos. I'm constantly doing research, interviewing people, and just browsing the internet for fun, too. And that's where the sponsor of this video comes in. Private Internet Access is a VPN, aka virtual private network, that hides your IP address and safeguards your internet connection through an encrypted tunnel. See, browsing the internet without an encrypted internet connection is like showering in a bathroom without a door. Everyone can hear your bad singing skills. The best part about Private Internet Access is that it not only protects you, but it lets you access region-restricted content from all over the world. Get this, I just started watching Still Game, a Scottish sitcom that isn't available in my US version of Netflix. I didn't have to worry about not being able to access the show because Private Internet Access helped me overcome restrictions by changing my IP address to the UK, which is one of their 91 countries to choose from. Private Internet Access is the world's most transparent VPN provider with over 30 million downloads. And for those worried about privacy like me, They never record or store user data. If you, like me, have a laptop and a phone and a tablet, you can use one private internet access subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices at the same time. Private internet access is giving my viewers, aka you, a special offer. Use my link in the description to get an 83% discount on private internet access. That's just $2.03 a month, plus an extra 4 months completely free. All right, back to the video.
Un movimiento como el duranguense no había o nunca se había dado, y la ley fue prácticamente la ventana para que se expusieran todos esos grupos.
As radio host of one of the top radio stations for Mexican music in Chicago, Pedro Ivan's job was to go to different local Mexican venues and see what bands local crowds were resonating with. Remember, this was before TikTok was even a thing.
El concepto real de cómo era el baile duranguense no existía como tal. Realmente eran las federaciones duranguenses. Aquí en Chicago pues hay muchísima gente de Durango, y obviamente pues había bailes duranguenses, que son los bailes duranguenses porque pues se juntaba todas las familias de Durango, hacían sus bailes y contrataban grupos, bandas, norteños. Así se le empezó a llamar bailes duranguenses, ¿no?
Había promotores de Durango que hacían bailes y como eran de Durango, la mayoría de los promotores empiezan a ponerle también hey, que bailes duranguenses, y ahí entraban todos los grupos que radicaban en el área de Chicago.
In fact, for its platforming of Duranguense groups, El Álamo de Aurora became known as the Cathedral of Duranguense. One group Pedro Iván started hearing about a lot was Montes de Durango.
Y ellos ya estaban toque y toque cada semana. Creo que fue el grupo, una vez le conté yo las semanas que estaban tocando ahí, yo creo que como 3 meses, cada fin de semana era Montes en los bailes, en todos los salones, y todos los días llenos. O sea, es algo que yo nunca había visto, era tanta la efervescencia de la gente. Entonces la radio tuvo que, por obligación casi, por complacer a la gente, a empezar a tocar a los grupos.
But it wasn't as simple as putting newbie groups like Montes de Durango on the air during the rush hour drive.
De repente los ejecutivos, como manejan una programación muy basada en los research que hacen de música, por ejemplo, ¿para qué vas a quitar a Vicente Fernández para tocar un grupo de Fernando?
That's where Margarita Vázquez, programming director at La Ley at the time, had an idea. They'd make a bracket-style contest where listeners would vote for what new band they wanted to listen to.
Y ahí vamos viendo cómo van subiendo de nivel, y conforme la gente lo vaya pidiendo van entrando a programación regular.
The genre was successful in the Chicago area, spawning different groups. Alacranes Musical, a group from Aurora, Illinois, a city about 40 miles west of Chicago, started in 1999, playing norteño music before pivoting to its own duranguense style.
En el 2000, 2002, 2003 empieza a estar fuerte en lo que era la ciudad de Chicago, a llenarse los salones de allá de el Álamo de Aurora, el Noa Noa, el Aragón, el OK Corral, todos este tipo de salones que había en Chicago.
So popularity in Chicago definitely helped, but what helped the genre grow beyond Illinois was something else. The genre was marked not just by its futuristic sound, but its peculiar dance as well. A quick two-step combined with embellished shoulder sways. In 2002, Montes de Durango released the song Pasito Duranguense, and that's how the genre and the dance got their name. Montes de Durango's theory, according to Rolling Stone, is that the dance originated when a Puerto Rican man and a Mexican woman went to El Álamo de Aurora and mixed merengue with norteño dance moves, and the band itself started mimicking those moves. There was another key move that may have played a role in Duranguense's diffusion. Margarita Vázquez told Chicago's Reader magazine that La Ley would take different Duranguense bands to high school gyms in Mexican-American neighborhoods, promoting the Pasito Duranguense with young people. That helped establish him as a distinctly young Mexican-American genre.
Duranguense was definitely of the people, especially in Chicago. Like, people who were going to those bailes were people who might be construction workers or landscapers that really connected to the music and were going out to dance on the weekend and like have time off.
And that was my next interview, the journalist and writer behind that Rolling Stone article I mentioned moments ago, who happens to be my close friend Tomás Mier. Like my family, his family is also from Durango.
So this is the Durango state lines, because I have California on this side where I was born, and Durango on the other side where my parents were born. We're very Durango pride here. When duranguense started to take off, I think people started to notice that this was something that I could include in my lifestyle or in my fashion, and you could see that in the performances and the dances and all of that. Whether it was like the taco hats that were like super thin or the really pointy boots and the style of dance that was so distinct that you just wanted to be a part of it. Maybe in the similar way as like Peso Pluma haircuts were in style 2 years ago because his music had a big jump in streams.
People are going into barbershops like, give me the Peso Pluma.
2003 and 2004 were seminal years for duranguense. That's when women started entering the genre. Los Horóscopos de Durango, a Mexican banda group, had been performing since 1975. But it wasn't until the early 2000s that the owner's daughters were added to the group and started singing duranguense. The genre was so popular, you even had outsiders pivoting their careers to cater to the new demand. Diana Reyes, who was born in Baja California Sur and had been working in Mexico City, moved to Chicago to become a duranguense singer, becoming the queen of el pasito duranguense.
Ya después empezó a radicar acá porque era obvio, tienes que moverte aquí. Pues aquí es donde estaba toda la chamba. Para todos los salones. Además, no ocupaban ni salir a otro estado.
Reyes' first hit was Rosas, a duranguense cover of a song by La Oreja de Van Gogh. In 2004, Los Horóscopos de Durango's Dos Locos song, a duranguense cover of bachata duo Monchi y Alexandra's hit song, lasted 8 weeks at the top of the Billboard Regional Mexican charts. In 2005, Los Horóscopos de Durango won 3 Billboard Latin Music Awards, including Regional Mexican Album of the Year, and in 2007, Premio Lo Nuestro, Univision's flagship award show, created a new category to prize these artists, the Duranguense Artist of the Year Award.
Todos ellos el saludo también, ¿verdad? A Martín, a Univisión, a todos los que nos están apoyando acá.
The Duranguense Artist of the Year was awarded to Montes de Durango 4 of the 7 years it ran. After consolidating its place in the music industry, Duranguense started seeping into other parts of culture, namely TV. In 2007, Capaz de la Sierra was tapped to perform the theme song of Al Diablo con los Guapos, a telenovela that dominated Spanish language rankings in the US and Mexico when it aired from 2007 to 2008.
2006, 2007, 2008 era el mero boom del duranguense y es cuando la escena musical empieza a salir a México, ya se empezó a escuchar en Guatemala, en El Salvador, en Honduras, en otros lados.
2008 tocamos en el Azteca y el Estadio Azteca es un monstruo.
Llenados masivos, ¿no? 30,000, 40,000 personas. De hecho, hicimos un disco en vivo en Tlalnepantla, el Estado de México, con 72,000 personas.
In what was probably the genre's darkest time, Capaz de la Sierra lost its leader in 2007. Sergio Gomez was murdered after being abducted in Mexico during a turbulent time for organized crime in the country. It's possible 2008 was the last golden year for Duranguense. While tours and CDs still sold after that, the fanfare around the genre started dissipating every year after that.
Con todos los géneros tienen su principio y tienen su fin. Hay géneros que perduran para siempre y hay géneros que se desaparecen.
I remember speaking to Pepe Garza, who is an iconic radio person and songwriter. He thinks that when a lot of the bands started to separate, Montes had a falling out with some of its members that started another group called Creadores that contributed to it. And also I think as new styles of banda started to kind of pick up, Duranguense started to slow down a little bit.
A salir mucho los solistas con corridos, que los tumbados, que corridos alternativos y que Gerardo Ortiz y todo ese rollo empieza a cambiar y obviamente pues ya no es tan comercial hacer un grupo duranguense porque ya no te lo van a tocar, ya no es tan fácil.
Ya cuando económicamente cualquier producto no genera, es tiempo de buscar lo que genere y es cuando vienen los cambios y ya entran otros géneros que vienen más fuerte y se les da la oportunidad.
So why am I doing this story now, more than 15 years after Duranguense's purported death? Because I saw 2 things happen while I was visiting my family in Chicago for Thanksgiving. So first, I saw this video.
Aquí nació un sueño y hoy regresamos con un sold out, baby. Woohoo! Chi-Town, nos vemos en St. en Rosemont, en Chi-Town.
Los Horóscopos de Durango, announcing the Chicago stop of their 50-year anniversary tour, had sold out. And it wasn't the only sold-out show for the band. The group, which had disbanded 4 years earlier and reunited for this tour, had come off performing sold-out shows in Los Angeles, San Jose, Guadalajara, and Mexico City, to name a few. That same week, I was in Chicago. Alacranes Musical, Capaz de la Sierra, Patrulla 81, and Conjunto Atardecer would perform on one stage as part of Durango Fest, a 48-city tour through the United States. Was this just a momentary nostalgia play, or was this the beginning of the very real resurgence of the genre? I wanted to ask the musicians themselves what they thought, so I went to Durango Fest to find out. However, instead of going to Chicago, I had to go to Milwaukee. The show was moved to Wisconsin, 1.5 hours away, at the last minute, reportedly over concerns of an uptick in ICE raids in Chicago. I reached out to organizers of the event to confirm that was the reason, but I did not hear back. I arrived at the show, and while it wasn't sold out, it was certainly packed, no small feat considering the below freezing temperatures and last-minute venue change. I asked Capaz if Duranguense was simply having a nostalgic moment or a real genre resurgence.
Ahorita está regresando el género, está regresando gracias a nuestros amigos de Alacranes Musical, de Montes de Durango, de Horóscopos de Durango, ahorita que están con la gira de su 50 aniversario. Entonces vamos a retomar nosotros también México, Centro, Sudamérica.
They're encouraged by the fact that a lot of young people attend their shows, not just 40 and 50-year-olds reminiscing on a fun time once had.
Ves chavitos de 15, ves chavitos de 18, de 20, 25 cantando las canciones de Capaz. Te digo, el duranguense, el género duranguense está teniendo un segundo aire, un segundo respiro. La verdad, la música ya estaba muy apagada hace algunos años. Yo pienso que lo único y la clave que nos queda a todos los del género duranguense es estar haciendo música nueva. Es eso, darle a la gente lo que la gente pide. En este caso, que siempre te piden. ¿Y para cuándo algo nuevo? ¿Y para cuándo algo nuevo?
I wanted to see what other bands thought. Los Horóscopos de Durango didn't respond to a request for comment. Neither did Montes de Durango. But I was able to catch an interview with Alacranes Musical, only I had to go to Durango, Mexico for this interview. They were performing in the state's capital city in late December alongside Los Primos de Durango, another popular Duranguense group. One thing I noticed from Mexican fans at the concert was that none of them knew Duranguense originated in Chicago.
¿Dónde empezó el pasito duranguense?
Pues Durango. Pues se supone que de Durango, ¿no? Pues de aquí de Durango, ¿no?
Pero viene de Chicago.
Viene de Chicago.
It was clear to me that they saw it very much as a homegrown genre, and that might be a good thing. In speaking with Alacranes, I learned that they see winning over the Durango market again as crucial to their success.
Un poquito antes de la pandemia hicimos el reencuentro de Alacranes Musical, nos juntamos otra vez porque nos habíamos separado en el 2009, 2010. Y nos juntamos otra vez y empezamos otra vez fuerte. Empezó, después del reencuentro, empezamos a llenar lugares y toda esta onda. Se vino la pandemia desafortunadamente y ahí fue un parón, pero seguimos otra vez empujando fuerte y empezamos otra vez aquí en Durango, como en aquellos tiempos, otra vez desde abajo, a ir a todos los pueblos, a toda la rancherada acá en Durango. Y otra vez hicimos la misma estrategia, a Zacatecas, San Luis Potosí, nos volvimos a meter a México. Y otra vez empezó el duranguense fuerte.
They say performing on the same stage as groups like Montes de Durango and Capaz de la Sierra was unheard of back in the heyday of Duranguense.
En aquellos tiempos pues estaba involucrados diferentes disqueras con cada grupo, ¿no? Entonces si por ejemplo Alacranes está con Universal tiene sus propuestas también, ¿no? Entonces para ellos les conviene más trabajar con los artistas del label. A no mezclarnos con otros. Había mucho ego también.
Mi grupo vende más que el tuyo y el grupo no, el mío.
Sí. But 2025 and 2026 call for a bit more unity from all the bands for the genre to survive.
Ya tenemos 3 años haciendo lo que es la gira del Durango Fest, que nos ha ido muy bien por todo Estados Unidos. En esta nueva era, años después, cuando todos ocupamos unirnos, ¿no? Porque siempre, como dice el dicho, la unión es la fuerza. Los unimos los pioneros, los que quedábamos de los pioneros duranguenses, como fue Capaz de la Sierra, Montes de Durango, Patrulla 81 y sus servidores.
But Alacranes is hopeful about the future. they think duranguense can be as popular as it once was.
Yo pienso que sí, esta es cuestión de seguir trabajando duro, de seguir otra vez sembrando para cosechar.
So one way they're tapping into that younger audience is through social media. In 2023, Mexican filmmaker Said Olvera directed a film called No Me Digas Güey, which told the story of two friends secretly in love with each other and uploaded it to YouTube. The film ends with this moment featuring Alacranes' Por Tu Amor song.
No más que no más, por eso fuiste.
The short film went viral with comments like, "Let's make duranguense popular again," and "I didn't think duranguense would hurt like this." Alacranes seized on the more than 9 million views the film has, and the band invited the actors of the film to join them on stage during select tour dates in Mexico. The band also recently remade the music video for the song Por Tu Amor, featuring these actors.
En 2 días logramos 2 millones de vistas en Facebook y en YouTube. Pasamos el millón en menos de una semana. Tuvimos en el top 50 de YouTube regional mexicano, junto con artistas como Peso Pluma, Fuerza Régida.
I talked to the actors before they went on stage in Durango.
Yo creo que esta nostalgia ha estado ayudando mucho últimamente porque pues allá va, yo lo veo subiendo.
Sí, creo que es un género que nunca murió. Estaba escondido, yo creo, y afortunadamente ha estado resurgiendo y poco a poco está escalando. Y efectivamente, como dice, es una nostalgia para muchos y a lo mejor un género también para muchos. Entonces, entre esas dos mezclas, cada vez está escalando más.
Now, there's good reason to believe social media could play a major role in duranguense's comeback. According to Tomas's reporting in Rolling Stone, early in the pandemic, social media users added a twist to the Flip the Switch challenge, made viral by Drake and Quavo's song. Montes told Rolling Stone the group saw a 40% increase in follower count around that time, and that may have translated to streams too. According to Spotify data, the band's streaming numbers increased 220% from 2020 to 2024. Something similar happened with Los Horóscopos de Durango during the pandemic, when the band was the soundtrack of another TikTok trend. Spotify data showed the group saw an over 145% increase in global streams in the same 4-year span. I asked my panel of third-party experts, people who are not directly involved with duranguense, whether they think the genre could make a real comeback. My uncle, who works a day job and manages his son's norteño group, Nueva Parcela, thinks social media could play a big part in duranguense's resurgence.
Es una herramienta que yo hubiera querido en mi época, cuando yo empecé en el 93, ver tenido las facilidades que tienen ahorita, por decir, los artistas o cualquier persona que se dedique a cualquier cosa, tienen la manera de cómo promover gratuitamente y llegar no solamente en la ciudad donde radican, sino a nivel nacional e internacional.
I think that it's going to take a younger artist tapping into those sounds today and making it cool again for it to be cool and not just nostalgia bait.
Ya hoy en día, si tú te vas a lanzar como música duranguense, no vas a pegar. Está en su mejor momento después de que se acabó el duranguense, ¿no? Ahora, eso no quiere decir que hay nuevos grupos duranguenses, porque también eso es malo. Están los que lograron conquistar el corazón de la gente.
What do you think? Could duranguense be as popular as it once was? What do you think it would take to get there? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. By the way, if you enjoyed it, you might also like this other video I made.